इनसे मिलिए मैं कोपल से बात करते हुए एज अ सफारी गाइड। मेरा अगला सवाल ये है कि पिछले वीडियो में आपने कहा था कि दिन में जब आप पार्क में गई और आपने एंटिसिपेट किया कि दोबारा उसका अपीयरेंस होगा, बिग कैट और व्हाटएवर। ना आई एम क्यूरियस कि ये एंटिसिपेट कैसे करते हैं?
That's a very good question. In fact, we hear this often from our guests also. And wildlife is very simple. It's a lot like our usual lives where no two individuals will be the same, and more often than not, the behavior and personality of each animal in the same species also is very different. But there are certain patterns which we are very sure of. So for example, when we say tiger is territorial, we know it's going to roam around in the same area where it's getting food, water, shade, mate. There is nothing that's making it move out of that area. Now, especially for the tiger, I'll be very honest, we still don't know how to track a leopard. But we've gotten very good at tracking tigers. So there are certain things that I can say for sure. If it's time for the tiger to move about while it's marking its territory, then it will probably take the exact same path that it took the last time. It may have the same crossing points. Okay. So once we know it's in a particular area, very, very high chances that we go and wait at that crossing point, or in that one particular path from where we know, there's a high possibility of seeing it from far. So basically, when I say we anticipate, what I mean is we understand the behavior of the animal. Now besides behavior, there is also environmental influences. So on a day when we feel, the climate has suddenly changed, it's okay to anticipate that today we may not have a sighting. I'm not saying that tigers will not step out when it's raining or that they'll not step out when it's cold. What I'm saying is wildlife in general will take about 24 to 48 hours to adjust to the changed climate, and then they start the movement. So a lot of times we can tell our guests whether or not we should be too hopeful for many animals today or not.
Now you mentioned 4 things in anticipation.
Yes.
It's okay as far as water, shade and even milk is concerned for cubs, etc. But first thing you said is food. Now how is the supply or access to food assured to a tiger within the same area? He may have got a kill yesterday, not necessary that it would be repeated. Would you explain that?
General, there is no guarantee. You can have a tiger who has not eaten in 15 days, 20 days, and he's probably famished and he's starving, versus a tiger who your guide will tell you, oh, he's made 2 kills and there are 2 kills right next to it. So there is absolutely no guarantee in our tiger reserves. One thing I can tell you for sure is we do not interfere. Even if there is a tiger that we feel now needs to eat, we can almost count the ribs, but there is no way that we will give it any kind of bait. And I think that is why we call it a wild tiger. We are very privileged that we get to go inside their homes every single day, not knowing what we'll see, because it's not a zoo, it's not an enclosure. All these tiger reserves that we're speaking of are home to the Royal Bengal tiger, the way it lives wild. So it has to make its own hunt. Dwelling a little deeper into that, I would say one typical spotted deer, which weighs 40 to 45 kgs, would last a tiger 3 to 4 days. Post that, the tiger again needs to make a hunt. However, if it's a tigress with cubs, then the math changes. Okay. But to each their own, there is nobody to help you out in the wild.
Okay. Thanks. We come to the end of this video, but stay with us. There is much more coming. Bye.
He's 5